There is no stopping Chris Wood at the moment, on the hottest of hot streaks.
He's in the form of his life. What a signing he's been for this club.
Nottingham Forest Top 4 Challenge is one of the stories of this season, led by 33-year-old Chris Wood, but his journey started all the way back in New Zealand.
I dabbled at rugby and cricket, but football was always the one, and my dad played football, so I used to go watch him and just enjoy him playing football. And then I started at the age of 4 and had loved it ever since. I moved down to Cambridge with the family when I was 10, and that was the first proper men's team that I moved myself into. I really appreciated them taking a chance on a 14-year-old kid.
I ran Samba-style futsal classes. I think Chris must have been about 9 or 10 at the time. The thing that profiles Chris's involvement in those classes was his willingness and his desire to learn, but he always just wanted to score goals. That was part of his footballing DNA, and it remains to this day. He was playing at the highest level of men's football in New Zealand when he was 15. But when he was playing at school, not everybody around him was at his level. He was so humble in personality and character that he elevated and raised those around him. We as a school were aspiring to reach the absolute top table of schools in New Zealand, the national tournament. We got to the last game, and I said to the boys, if we could get top 10, we would be making a tremendous statement to ourselves and everyone else that we are on the way. And we were 3-0 down with 15 minutes to go. Chris Wood scored a hat-trick in 15 minutes. I'm getting goosebumps. When the game had finished, Chris was walking towards me and he looked at me and he said, "Here's your 10th place." That, in essence, is what he is capable of.
But Wood's life was about to change as the chance to move to England came around.
Moved over at 16 for the scholarship program, and it was one of those, you got a 2-year scholarship and just go over and try and see what can happen, and if it doesn't work out, well, you can always go back to New Zealand. My parents moved over with me. My mum's English, so we knew England pretty well. Mum and dad took a lot of the pressure off in that sense of all the off-field stuff they dealt with, and just let me enjoy playing football. Tony Mowbray gave me the chance to make my debut, which I'm always thankful for because he was a great manager, and he brought me up into the first team and I was training with him. After the year we had in the championship together and played, I think 25, 26 games I did for them. We got promoted behind Newcastle in second place to Premier League, and I was never going to play in the Premier League at the time and things like that. I had to go in and further my career and play games. Loans are the best way to do that. I think it makes you learn and experience things that you don't get to experience when you play in 23s football and things like that, which is fantastic.
And Wood had to work hard for regular football. He had 6 loan moves from West Brom all over the country in search of first-team experience.
I went where the football was, had good times. Barnsley, tough time, but then went down to Brighton, won the league in League One, had a great time. Played with Birmingham in the Europa League and done extremely well there. Then went to Bristol to try to get more game time, didn't work out and things like that. So yeah, it's all different situations and scenarios, but they were all great in the individual way.
I'd actually tried to get him when I was manager at St Johnstone. Went down to watch a few West Brom reserve games, and obviously he was quite raw, but good size, good turn of pace, and he had an eye for goals. And when we managed to get him into Bristol City, he actually played such an important role for us in terms of staying up. We had a tough ask and it went the whole way really to the second, third last game of the season. But first impressions was big shy guy, probably didn't really know how to use his body perfectly at that age. And I remember when he first came in, he was really shy, and we do an initiation ceremony that he has to go through obviously, and it was the Friday before the first game, and myself and we were just a wee bit worried, the staff, how's he going to cope with that? But he done the haka, surprisingly, probably one of the best initiations I've seen. The championship was a tough level for him to see how he coped. For a young boy, the championship can be quite unforgiving and a real test. But the physicality was there clearly, and he scored a couple of really important goals for us to help us stay up.
It was Wood's final loan move to Leicester that brought about a new permanent home.
Came in when I was 21 into Leicester. Probably, yeah, quiet, young lad. I'd say anybody's quiet compared to Vard.
He was probably a bit quieter when he was here. He came here with a great scoring record, did well here. Unfortunately got moved on, but as you've seen, he's gone away, worked on his game, and he's come back firing.
It was the start of a journey which was about getting out of the Championship, winning the Championship and then progressing in the Premier League, and that's what I wanted to do. That's why I went to Leicester. We had a great team and a great squad with a great manager, and it worked out well in that sense.
Wood dropped back into the Championship to join Leeds United in 2015, a move that really kick-started his career.
I needed to go to a club to play more consistent football. Leeds was the opportunity we took, and when Gary came in and James came in, and it was a change in the guard from the manager we had the year before. It started to click well for the team, and I think Beats had a big influence on my career. There was times where the fans were probably on my back and things like that at the start of the season, which weren't going well, and James really helped out both on the pitch and off the pitch to work on mental strength and to know that you can get through anything, and I think that's what helped that season and put me on to my best season.
I sort of have a holistic approach to coaching. We worked on various things to help him become more effective in the system that we were playing at that time. It's a collection of information, and it's not just playing football. A lot of it is psychological. A lot of the work that we did with Chris was on that. He was actually playing the role of a single striker, a single focal point for the team. He was getting frustrated because maybe he wasn't seeing the ball as much as he wanted to, and he thought that he wasn't contributing, but he was actually contributing quite a lot, helping other players gain space to provide him with chances to finish off. One of the things that I did speak to him about was actually using his frame and his physicality to not just intimidate, but to also, help with ball retention and getting people out the way. And he was a little bit shocked at that. He was a gentle giant. He was quiet.
After 2 seasons with Leeds, Wood was on the move again, a return to the Premier League as Burnley's club record signing.
Had 5 great years there and scored lots of goals, achieved lots of things, getting into Europa League with Burnley and things like that, and just having a great time and doing extremely well with 18, 19 other lads that stuck together for 5 years.
We had a fantastic relationship on and off the pitch, so I still speak to him now. I think we just had that connection. We were the opposite movements all the time, was just killing these defenders, and just, and we could obviously we could both hold the ball up, we can both run in behind. So I think it was the mix and match movements and everything that is just why we succeeded so much.
Me and Barnsley got on fantastically well. I mean, we're still good mates and we catch up all the time. We were telepathic in that way. It seemed to work so well, our relationship together, which was brilliant.
In January 2022, Wood left Burnley for Newcastle, swapping one relegation-threatened club for another.
I could see the project that Newcastle were trying to build. It was an opportunity to elevate my game and potentially take me to the next step if I went in there and scored goals and done well. It didn't work out perfectly, but it worked out well, I think. We stayed up, we've done extremely well, and then got Champions League the next year. I mean, I'm happy to be a part of that, and the rebuild of Newcastle and where they've gone on to is fantastic.
But Wood's time in Newcastle didn't last long. He made the move to Nottingham Forest, initially on loan. And it's a move that's produced the form of Wood's life.
I think we started playing a bit more positively and more attackingly. The game that Nuno brought in really suits what I play and how I am good at. He gave me the confidence to be as number 9 and start.
First of all, an amazing guy and a top footballer as well. Chris has been doing this for a long time. He's been scoring goals for a long time in the Premier League. I think he's nearly on 100. He's one of the oldest ones in the group, so he's got the experience. He knows what it takes to stay at this level and play at this level and score at this level. So he's someone you should listen to, and he's someone I listen to. He gives me good advice, and I think that's probably why we play so well together.
I'm proud of his journey, and I'm proud of what he's done. It's testament to him because he foresaw in his mind that it was beneficial for him to go out and play in various systems with various players. And it all culminates in what we're seeing and what we've seen from Chris over the last 5, 6, 7 years.
He works really hard on his game to try and be the best that he can, so for it to be all coming together at once is good for him.
I think people probably would have looked at him and maybe pigeonholed him a wee bit when he played at Burnley. He then subsequently gets good moves to Newcastle and obviously getting a bit more spotlight now in Forest because the season he's having. He's obviously really key in that system that Forest play. It's great to see him doing so well.
They talk about Mo Salah and Erling Haaland and Chris Wood all in the same breath. You can't compete with that man. He is the beacon for all the young kids back in New Zealand that it's possible. You can reach for these heights and attain them.
I want to keep the path open for New Zealanders to hopefully make it into the Premier League one day and grow that generation of new kids coming through wanting to play football and want to dream and strive for the best they can and end up in the biggest league like Premier League and see where they can go to.